Awesome.
Well, thank you. We have Nathan, David, and Adam, three of the gentlemen involved in a Wisconsin-themed short that's part of a larger series. I reviewed it recently on our channel February, and I am fortunate enough to have these folks tonight to talk about this short film and this project in general. First off, we have the director and the conceiver of this month project that has come up, Nathan Deming. How you doing, Nathan?
I'm good. Thanks for having us on, Mark.
Very happy to have you here. And then we have the main star of the short. We have David Ezekiel Duran here with us. How you doing, David?
Good, good. Thank you for having me on.
Glad to have you here. And the man who helped put this together, which I've learned over the years, the role of a producer, mad respect for a producer. We have we have Adam Stunkle here. Did I pronounce that right? Stunkle?
Yeah, Stunkle. Yeah, that's
Stunkle.
it.
Who's also a filmmaker in his own right as well, with us. So welcome, Adam.
Great to be
Uh,
here.
yeah, and if people follow my channel at all, they know when it comes to Wisconsin and especially Wisconsin filmmaking, I'm all about promoting that. I love my state. Yes, it is true that Wisconsinites are fanatics about their state. We wear that badge with pride. So happy to have you all here. And so we'll start with Nathan. Nathan, I always love doing this. If you could give just a little synopsis of February and what it's about.
February is about a character named Miguel who's just moved to a small town in Wisconsin. And he's kind of struggling to fit in. We see his family life, we see his job, and he's just kind of not enjoying the Wisconsin winter. And things aren't going great until he discovers ice fishing. And then the plot kind of kicks off from there.
Yeah, watching the short and the ice fishing stuff and everything about it, I'm like, oh, this is completely Wisconsin. I feel like right at home, just down the road. It
Great,
feels like I
great.
stepped outside. So, yeah, it was really great. So, what made you want to come up with this concept of doing a short for each month for a small town Wisconsin?
Well, first, can I say it's almost an hour long, so
Okay,
it's
I
for people watching. It's not just a short, It's
no.
like
Sorry, that's a film festival habit of mine. They consider it less than an hour is tend to be a short. No, it is 45 minutes long.
for a
So it's
mini feature.
for a mini feature. I like that word a lot better. A mini feature, yes.
No,
Uh,
I'm just letting so your audience knows it is kind of a longer film. It has the
yeah,
pacing of a feature. It's kind of like an episode of TV or something like that.
yeah.
Um, yeah, this is a part of a larger series I'm doing that I'm calling the Year Project.
Oh, nice shirt. Nice shirt. I like
Nice
that.
shirt it is. Debuting the shirt here. And yeah, basically, I want to make a film for every month of the year in Wisconsin and have a larger story I want to tell. But mainly, the idea is that each episode is going to focus on different characters, very Wisconsin characters, very Wisconsin aspects of our culture. And on purpose, this is going to take me like 10 years or longer. So I've done January and I've done February, going in order. And so that's where we are now.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I did watch January before our interview
Oh,
as well,
nice.
and that was touching as well. Another fun day in the life with a recurring character, Marty, who is in February as well.
Little snippet,
Little snippet in here.
yeah.
So David, how did you get pulled into this? Because looking at it, this is your first acting role, is it not?
Yeah, behind the camera, yes, it is my first acting role. I was reached out on, was it Backstage, Nathan?
Yeah,
Right?
backstage.
So I got reached out on Backstage, and I think it was just like a normal process of
Mhm.
auditioning, and this guy, he took a chance on me, and there it is. That's how I got the role. And we talked about going out to Wisconsin, and I'm like, it is cold out here. It is so cold. But yeah, it was great. It was great.
So you're not from Wisconsin
No, no,
area
no.
at all? No,
Sadly.
sadly. Well, I'm glad you were able to handle the Wisconsin winter and the
Oh yeah.
cold because it is shot during a Wisconsin winter. So
Oh yeah.
I felt that as well. So you captured that well, Nathan. Uh,
Well, we couldn't really fake that
you,
part of it. too
No.
much.
Well, especially the ice fishing part. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was
uh,
really paranoid actually. We were filming some of that because I thought it just looks like a field. They're gonna think we're in a field, you know? But obviously you stick the auger
uh,
down and water comes gushing out and it's like obvious where we are, but still.
and you were fortunate to have cold enough days to where you could do that on the ice. So,
Oh yeah.
The winter we filmed was pretty solid. It
mhm.
was it was good.
Solid meaning cold.
It
Yeah.
was solid cold,
Yeah,
yeah.
Just for the
exactly.
record,
Although
solid means
we
freezing.
yeah,
Mm.
we did luck out one day though. I think we were filming in downtown Toma and it was like 50. One of those random warm summer days, and so there's still snow, but
what
Mm.
what made you choose Toma for the fictional Wisconsin small town?
Well, so in the series it's gonna be nameless sort of,
Sure, yeah.
but I'm from Toma, so
Ah,
I have an affection for places where I grew
sure.
up. But we shot this in a mix of Toma and Eau Claire. Like the lake is Eau
Mm,
Claire.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. And Adam, how'd you get involved in producing this project?
Um, Nathan and I went to film school together many years ago, the London Film School. That's how we met. And we landed in LA a few years ago. We happened to be in the same town. And well, LA, a lot of people come out here to make movies. So
Sure.
not that random. And he had asked, and I was kind of looking to produce. It's something I hadn't done since film school, really. I'd been kind of directing small shorts and documentaries and stuff like that. And so when he asked, it was just like the right time.
Mhm.
So and it was great to talk to him from a producer standpoint because it is a different skill set than the director. So I enjoyed like wearing that cap quite a bit.
Well, and I imagine you're not from Wisconsin either, so they kind of relied a little bit on more input from Nathan, I imagine, for locations and talent and such.
Mhm.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. It's like we were in his backyard. Why would I fight that? He's the one that knows all the stuff. Like, great.
Well, locations, yeah, but obviously we cast out of LA. Adam was a
Mm.
huge part of yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not all the resources were in the backyard. Yeah.
So,
That's true. That's true.
so how'd you cast for that, Adam? You post looking for Midwestern types, but you're on the West Coast, so that might not be exactly easy to find.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about casting Richie because I think that's an interesting story.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Because you're right. You're exactly right. We were looking for Richie in LA, and we were not finding anything that looked like it needed to. So I'm from a small town in Virginia,
Oh,
like a very agricultural town. I call it a Walmart town. And so, anyways, we kind of grew up in the same places. And Nathan and I are aware when someone looks like they're from LA when they're supposed to be from a small town. So our radar is very finely tuned. And so we couldn't find anyone. And so Nathan was like, "What if we do Craigslist?" And I said, "Let's go."
Yep.
and you found Richie, the most we'll say rural Wisconsin looking individual. You casted well. You
Yeah.
casted very
I think, you say we found Richie. Richie found us.
well. Richie found you, yes,
Hmm.
and he was an excellent pick. Excellent pick. Now, David, for this role, what did you do to prepare for this role? What did you think of this character when you read for it?
Well, I am first generation Hispanic. My parents were both born in Mexico.
Okay.
So I think I dug deep a little more into my roots and more into my friends because I have a lot of friends that are not from, weren't born here in the United States. So for accents, I was thinking about like my friend Jose or like my friend Josh, because they have heavy, heavy accents.
Sure.
And with that, I just try to like put all of this together. Even I thought with my grandma,
Mm.
my grandma has like a mad Mexican accent. But I think that's what I would prepare myself for. Try to put myself in their shoes,
Mm.
and I would think a lot about my family in that aspect. And I just wanted to represent who they were while doing this. So that's kind of what I did to prepare for this role as Miguel.
Well, you did very well. I felt for you
Thank
quite
you.
a bit. I felt for the character of Miguel because the challenges that Miguel runs into are the challenges that I've seen many folks who have come up to small town rural Wisconsin, some of
Mm.
those challenges, they, as much as we like to think we have a lot of acceptance, there's still a lot of, divisiveness and such up here. And to see that, I really felt for your characters. So you accomplished that very well. I really felt for you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and I was like wanted to reach through the screen at times and go, damn it, just let the guy, just let the guy alone. He's still adjusting.
Yeah.
So Nathan, when you're writing this, you know, the characters that you wrote, were these folks that from possible personal things that you witnessed over the years, or where'd you pull from for the characters?
Yeah, I think that's what I want to do with a lot of these month movies. They're kind of like some are memories, some are real people, you know. I mean, Marty's kind of an amalgamation of a lot of women I grew up with and I love dearly, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I guess living in LA for a while too, I made a lot of Hispanic friends, got to know a lot of people over the years, heard their stories and stuff. So I think when it came time to write, I had a little bit of uh, groundwork, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, I tried to do my homework and get things accurate. And I should also shout out to David. David's downplaying how much he prepped, but he also sings and performs in the film as well. So I can't remember if that was a skill set of yours before the movie, David, or did you?
Yeah, it was. It
Oh, okay,
was.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was like impressed that you just learned that, but never mind.
Well,
Okay.
I did just learn. I learned that song for the role, but I think
Right, right, right.
I I seriously started playing guitar maybe like a few months before that. Yeah.
Did pretty good.
It was very good. Yeah, it was very impressive. So,
Thank you,
uh,
thank
it,
you.
and when writing these roles, Nathan, do you have someone take a look at the script and go, is this person becoming too much of a caricature? Because I felt most of these characters, except for maybe Carl, uh, most of these characters are right on the edge of you don't want them too over, whatever extreme in their beliefs or how they treat Miguel, because then it becomes satirical. I mean, how do you achieve that balance with the writing?
Yeah, like we worked with, I definitely like worked with the actors a lot to develop each like things are maybe 10% different each scene, once we like started to kind of bring it to life with the actors and I've thought sometimes about that caricature thing because I've worried about that with like especially the Carl character. I worry, I worried about that a little bit, but at the same time, Carl is Richie. Like Richie's very much this guy. There was even details in the script that were true from his life or whatever that he would deliver the line and then he'd say to me, "Oh, that's true. I did that." Or, so
Yep.
when trying to, I don't know, I guess say
Mm.
something grand when trying to capture the, culture of the state or something. Yeah, I would like to do it in a thoughtful way. I would like to do it in a way that doesn't hopefully just turn into stock characters or something like that. But obviously, there's a lot of truth in that too, you know.
Well,
Um,
I mean, it's okay to have one caricature. You can have one Carl because every town
there
has
you go.
one Carl. We all have. I personally have run into our local quote unquote Carl. He's stopped me on the sidewalk and has a reputation. So we've got folks similar to that. So, but I just liked how you portrayed the characters because sometimes when you get small town portrayals, either they're too yokel or they're too stereotypical, like over the top, and then you're just like,
Oh,
either way, you're like, this is not a believable town. But I'm watching this going, no, I this is a Wisconsin town.
yeah, that's kind of I think what Adam was touching on with like I think his and my radar is there like out for that because I love Fargo, I love that kind of stuff, but also we know that's like a bit of a joke and like Um, so yeah, I think there was an effort to try to make everybody because even like the Carl character is like he's really gruff. He seems like one type of guy, but just kind of like the real Richie, like there is a he's very friendly once you get to know him and like there's sweetness there or whatever and
I
yeah.
the relationship that builds between Miguel and Richie, between Carl and I call him Richie. Sorry, Carl and Miguel is fun to watch develop in a ice shanty because I those are very close, intimate spaces, very much so. So Adam, when you got the script in that for this, what did you think of it, and what was it most that stood out for you that made you want to help produce this?
Good question. I think start with I think the characters stood out. They just like we're kind of the same conversation where you guys were already having, which is like it just rang true to me. It felt like they were all real. Like I said, my small town has characters like Richie. I grew up around a lot of those characters, Carl, Richie, and guys in those trucks. How about that? I
Yeah.
know a lot of guys who drive that truck.
I recognize that truck quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the script was filled with little moments like that. And so it was very clear Nathan had a handle on the characters. And so when the writing is that detailed, like it's like, okay, so I knew the script was good because the writing had those moments in there. Not all of them, but a lot of that stuff was there. We obviously worked with the actors to hone that in, but so I think the characters just felt so well developed, and they, like you said, weren't caricatures. They felt authentic. They felt like people I either knew or people from different backgrounds that reminded me of people I knew, and it just was really easy to see this world like fleshed out because it felt so grounded. And so I think that's what like the grounded nature of the story is what like really drew me in.
And now producing, you've got LA experience in producing stuff in LA, and that. How is the experience of film production in Wisconsin? Because I think people don't realize we have actually a rather robust film community here in Wisconsin, even though they don't have the
Yeah.
tax breaks of that. But what was it like to do producing in Wisconsin, say, versus LA?
Um, that's a yeah. Well, I'd say I mean the cruise was incredible that we had in Wisconsin, and we got really lucky with a lot of great crew that joined on. Um, and I would say that a difference I find is one, there's just there's a lot more hoops to jump through in LA.
Mm,
There's
yeah,
commissions and unions, and then they're all good, and that's all like, but that's just different. There's more
right.
things to do logistically from a production standpoint if you're shooting in LA than there is in Wisconsin, Eau Claire.
Mhm.
There's more
So
there's more spirit in Wisconsin. Like
well,
Mhm.
I
you want
would
to
say,
film here?
yeah, there's a real collaborative effort that we found, which is
Mhm.
like people were like, hey, I need help with this, no problem, I'll help you with that. Whereas I think in LA sometimes I don't know if I don't know, I think in LA it can get a bit siloed.
Right.
Whereas
Hmm.
there is this like there's like 15 of us doing this thing. There's a real independent spirit and like can do attitude when and everyone just will pick up anything and
Hmm.
everyone
Mhm.
looks after each other, and we were like moving through Toma going from like store to store to store, and that was something you couldn't do in LA at
Hmm.
all.
Well,
And
Mhm.
in
also
LA,
I was also like that. So the last thing was I was knocking on like businesses' doors in Toma, being like, "Hey, can I get on your roof? We might want to do a shot here." And a lot of people were like, "I'd love to, but I just don't know how." And I was like, "But then one," and then so someone said, "It's really dangerous, but you can go up there if you want." And I was like, "I think we're okay." So and you wouldn't get that in LA.
yeah, I was just gonna say you could throw a rock in LA and hit a film production, So like people don't care if you're like, hey, we need your kids to fill a swimming pool for this scene in a movie. They'll be like, yeah,
Yeah, we need your two doodles out here by the
we
lake
need your
until
dogs.
like
Yeah,
9:30
yeah.
Yeah.
p.m. No, no problem.
Oh yeah, David bonded with those dogs, didn't you? In the brief time.
Yeah, of course. I love dogs. They were so nice. Such kind people over there in Wisconsin.
So we try. I mean, people say, we have that kind of joke reputation, but at the same time, some of that comes from off, just the way folks are up here. That's what you run into. We try anyway. I mean, you always have
Mm.
certain folks, but David, what was it like acting in the ice shanty so close to Richie? Because I imagine it had to be logistically tough for Nathan with the camera, and then you have you two in there, and then you've got the fishing equipment. Uh, how was that working in the ice shanty? I imagine over a few nights.
Oh man, it was Oh man, it was okay. I honestly
Yeah.
think it was okay. It was not bad at all. Um, we were on the ice like 2 days, I think.
Mhm.
Well, David,
But
you can say I think he wants to hide the movie magic, but we filmed exteriors on the ice, but the interiors is in a garage. And
no, but
Ah,
I was about to get to the good
yeah, I think
parts
he
on
was trying to, yeah,
how
yeah, but
how
there's
hard
10
it
people
was to
behind. Yeah.
how hard it was, how hard it was on the ice itself. You know, because on the ice itself there was no room at
hmm
all, no room whatsoever to move around. All we have to hear is what was it? Rolling. Yeah, that's like that's all we would hear, and it was like, and I had to go outside and I had to like fake pee like 300 times. Like it was terrible. Like on the ice.
You did,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that was terrible. It was terrible. Like, and then again, like, filming in the garage with the ice shanty. That one wasn't too bad because yes, we were warm, which is way better than it was outside. Um, but it was cool working in there, like having enough space.
sure.
You know, that was fine. But working with Richie, it wasn't bad working with him.
Yeah.
He's definitely a character. You know, Richie is definitely a character.
Yeah.
He's he's Wisconsin man.
Yeah.
He is a Wisconsin man. Um, but no, working with him was great. I felt like the energy in the room was very amazing. Um, like I said, the whole crew, when I say the people there are amazing, like we had people from Minneapolis, like Aaron. Aaron was amazing. Tristan was amazing, you know. And I think working side by side with all of them was just such a great experience, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, because your sister and brother-in-law as well characters in here. You all three seem to feel like a unit. You felt like a
Yeah.
family quite a bit,
Yeah.
which was nice to see. So did you pay Richie in beer then? I take it because
Not too far off
Oh
from
my
the truth.
God.
Not too far.
No, we paid Richie.
We did, we
Paid
paid,
money. I don't want
paid
that out there as a
no,
producer.
we paid
Okay.
Richie, but I feel like sometimes that I kept missing if he was actually drinking beer out of the beer can we gave him. You know what I mean?
Oh
I
no,
didn't
he
ask. I
definitely
didn't. That was a
was.
situation where I'd rather play ignorance on that one.
oh no,
Just saying.
that's the same can of beer, sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, just saying. I'm the one sitting right next to this guy. I smell him.
Mhm.
You know?
Right.
Love that
I
guy.
I just when you had the beer consumption montage, I'm just like, yep, that's Wisconsin, and then I'm like sitting there going, I wonder how many of those he's actually consumed because
Don't worry. I had Coca-Cola in my beer bottles.
oh well,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah,
And David's
yeah, yeah,
underage, so we
yeah,
follow the law.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I was
but
18. Yeah.
so that explains it though with you shooting the garage with the ice shanty parts, which I'm glad because I was wondering how much of the budget went into flip phones going down the ice hole. Because when I saw that, I'm like, well, that was a one take. But
Well,
Yeah.
no, that went in the lake. We tied it to fishing line though, so we threw
ah,
it down and then.
I was wondering if there was going to be fishing line or not, because the way I'm like,
Old
oh,
movie magic.
yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna litter.
I was going to ask Adam, I was like, how much of the budget went into finding old flip phones?
Right.
I don't know where that came from, but it wasn't as hard as you might think.
That
Oh,
was my old
Nathan.
flip
Okay.
phone.
Okay.
Wait, that was your old phone?
Yeah, I tried to get rid of my
Oh wow.
smartphone for like 6 months and didn't make it very far.
And it ended up in a frozen river or
Yeah,
frozen lake. Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, it became a good prop though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was good.
it was a good prop, and it was fitting for the Carl character because you don't see Carl
Definitely.
having a smartphone.
He
You,
wouldn't fool
No.
with he wouldn't fool with that.
no,
He doesn't have time.
Nope.
no, because they
The
might be.
conspiracy theory. He thought 9/11 was a conspiracy theory. It is a not mess with technology.
That's a good point.
So it's very fitting for his character for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep,
He's
yep,
trying to be
yep.
off the grid.
Yeah. So, David, for you, what was one scene that went really well that you thought maybe would have been a bigger challenge for you, but once you got in front of the camera and were doing it, you're like, wow, that
Um,
just went really well.
I would say the singing,
Mhm.
singing Si nos dejan. Definitely that part.
Mhm.
I thought I was gonna bomb it completely, but from what I heard, I've seen the film already, and I'm a tough critic on myself, and I think I could have done a little bit better. But from what I hear, I heard that it was pretty good.
No,
You
man,
know.
you did great.
You
Yeah.
nailed it. No, it was really good. It was really good.
Okay.
We
Uh,
also had to do it like 7 times, like
Oh yeah, definitely.
angles. So, but I remember that was like a really fun moment on set, because we had just been kind of doing a lot of like, oh,
Yeah.
like back and forth, and then it was like this beautiful song for a little bit.
it,
Yeah, I know.
how many cameras did you have, Nathan? Two or one?
We were a single camera operation.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
well, it doesn't seem like it, so at least you made a match up well. So there you go. So it
It was
felt like,
constantly, yeah.
yeah. I imagine though that yeah, with all the different takes, that had to be a bit of a challenge for you, Dave.
Oh yeah, definitely. Constantly having to do one scene 3 or 4 times. It was great. Just from different angles.
hmm
Yeah.
But that's the joys of filmmaking, right?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
What about you, Nathan? What was one scene that you shot or that you put together you thought was going to be just a huge challenge? It's just going to be like, oh man, how are we going to do this? But it actually went very well for you.
That's a great, yeah. Well, one scene that became a huge challenge that I didn't think was going to be a huge challenge was when he walks the dog at night,
Oh.
which
Mm.
became so we shot a lot more than just that. In
Mhm.
this movie, it ended up as kind of one shot that I really liked. I really liked that moment like that. But it was like the end of a long day, and then we couldn't. It was like one of those things where we went to like 10 locations to find something that had enough lights and all this stuff, and for some reason none of it was working out, or there'd be some city element in there like construction or something that was so ugly that we couldn't use. So we were pretty dead tired, but then it turned out that's like one of my favorite little bits. But I think the swimming pool scene too, I really like. We shot in the movie again, it's like one long take, that scene where he's mopping around the pool, and I really like how it turned out. But that was a challenge. Those kids were wonderful. But I remember, and they were pretty game at the beginning, but I remember towards the end of it, some of the younger ones being like, "Why do we have to keep doing what that man says?" Like, yeah, I don't know. This is a strange situation. You have to just every time I say, "Okay, now scream and run around and throw the ball at your sister," and they were into that for 15 minutes, but then it's like. Can I leave?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you did something that they always say is the two hardest things to work with, kids and animals, and you have them both in here, Nathan. So I guess you like the
Yeah.
challenge.
Wait, who's the animal?
You walk
The
the
dogs
dog.
that you connected with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
dogs.
I was like, wait, am I an animal?
No,
Oh
we were
no, no.
calling you
Okay.
an animal at all.
The dogs that you
The
said you
dog.
loved.
Yeah. I love those dogs. They're great. They're great. They walk pretty fine. They walk pretty good too.
It was
So,
very cold when we did that too. Do you remember
mhm.
Super.
that? Because
I just kept sliding on the ice. It was fun.
did you have a like an extra jacket they would put over you? Because you have your costume, which is like a light jacket.
Yeah, no, I would have a I had a little separate one for me just to
Oh,
keep me warm.
good. Yeah, because it was so
Yeah.
cold that night. Yeah.
And then wearing my gloves at all times, all
Mhm.
times. Yeah. Not Austin, Aaron. Aaron was my guy because he always like hold the stuff for me. So Aaron was my guy. Right.
When did you shoot this?
This was in the month of
February.
February.
In
Yeah,
February.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
23, February 23.
Yeah.
Oh, that February. Okay, so yeah, it was cold.
It was pretty
It was
cold.
February, yeah.
Well, February is a little odd in Wisconsin. If you go back 3 years, we had all the snow and winter in February. I think it was. It was where it was like we had 3 or 4 feet of snow in February.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
but yeah, then it was really cold. Yeah, February is that odd month. But then again, we've gotten snow in June, so true
Hmm.
story. I remember it. If you bear with me, I remember it. I was a kid, but we woke up. It was like June 6th or 7th, and I grew up in Milwaukee. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, and we woke up, and it was near the end of the school year. It was June, and all of a sudden the radio station said, "Yeah, the Milwaukee public school system is closed today for a snow day." And we're like, "What?" And we looked outside, and sure enough, there were 2 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Wow.
I was gonna say, when did that happen? Because I don't remember that, but
Yeah, that would have that I'm very old. So no, that was like that was back when I was in like middle school, and so that would be like 88 or 87 or 88 sometime in there, but all the
Wow.
plows were off the vehicles by then, so they couldn't plow anything. So it was like, I mean, it was all melted by the next day, but still it was just so
that'd be bizarre. Yeah.
Wisconsin weather adds a challenge.
Yep.
Adam, for you, when you're planning with production wise and that, do you plan for heat tents and that depending on the budget, or how do you plan for shooting in the cold weather?
Um, well, I think you always have to take weather into consideration when you're shooting. So if we're shooting on location, which we knew we would be, and that Nathan kind of planned accordingly. It wasn't his first time shooting in Wisconsin, so I think he was kind of the one who kind of knew more logistically how to handle the weather. Um, yeah, but it's a consideration no matter the budget, because you have to think about it because it will affect you logistically.
Yeah, you don't want exposure, or you don't want people getting frostbite, especially if they're have a costume like like Miguel had, which was a thinner fleece. Which I'm gonna say, man, watching your character, you made me cold. Looking at that thinner jacket you were wearing for most of it, I'm like, oh
I have
man, no,
a,
you need another jacket.
yeah, I have a story about that actually. We were on, it was Altoona, right?
Lake
That's the lake,
Altoona. Yeah.
Oh
Lake
yeah,
Altoona. And I think the weather is like 3 degrees, and it felt like one. And I was shaking the whole time because obviously I'm from California. I'm not used to this weather.
sure.
And it was very early in the morning. I forgot what time, but it was early in the morning. And like they were like rolling, and I was shaking so bad. So every time they said rolling, I'd stop shaking. I have to act. I have to, yeah, all right, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not shaking at all. Who's shaking? I'm not cold. I'm used to this weather. You know, but it was so bad, man. Every time. Action! Stop shaking, David. Stop shaking. But yeah, that was my story on that.
We did see you shake on camera, so you did well there.
Yep.
But if you were, no one would have blamed you. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was a balmy, I think when I woke up this morning, it was a balmy -6 this morning. So,
Jesus Christ.
but it got up to 15 today. So,
Oh wow.
Great.
That's
There's
that's a
always
lot.
15. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's, by the time we hit 30, if you hit 30-degree weather after you've had a few days of negative temperature, that's like shorts weather. You've got the window down. You've got,
Totally. Sunroof open. Let's go.
that's right.
Wow.
You're driving. It's a different beast, but yeah, I think you all did very well in capturing the feeling of February in Wisconsin. And I appreciate that because Wisconsin does tend to be a lot of times the butt of jokes in Hollywood, as all three of you are probably familiar. Adam, especially, and Nathan, for sure, being out in LA, you say Wisconsin, and they're like, what? So portraying it, I think it does really well in giving us, giving an image of, yeah, we're more than just Fargo, or we're more than just Youpers, or, we do love our Packers. We're crazy about them. I'll fully admit, but
Well,
uh,
I feel too like they write all these articles right now that are always about rural America or something, and they're always like as if it's an exotic animal, and it's like it's just normal people. There's just less concerts going on every,
Yeah.
like that. Um, yeah, it's totally normal.
Yeah. Well, and Adam, with you coming from a small rural town, I mean, there's not a huge amount of difference when you come to smaller rural towns between, say, those down in the south versus the north, except maybe the temperature and how many cars are out in the front yard, maybe. But
Yeah, and maybe what you call soda or pop. And then
yes,
the other one is if your tea's sweet or not. And that's about it.
yeah. So, there is some connection there as well. So, uh, yeah, February is a great short. It's on the festival circuit now, right, Nathan?
Yeah,
Um,
well, the bigger thing is that we're doing this kind of fun thing with it this next month of
mhm.
February, and we're taking it outside of festivals. We're just going around the state of Wisconsin. We're hitting up like over 25 cities,
Nice.
going all over Richland Center, Alma, Madison, Milwaukee, uh, here, there, and everywhere. So every screening's free. If people want to go, they can check out our website and. I'm gonna go to most of them, do a
Mhm.
Q&A. David's gonna be at a week of them, so
Yep.
that'll be really
You,
fun.
you're gonna brave February in Wisconsin again, David, for
Yeah.
for the showings
For a week. For a
Well,
week.
for a
Yeah.
week. For a week, you
I
can
mean,
handle a week.
it's
I can
15
handle
degrees.
another
He'll be
week.
fine.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
fine.
as long as you time it when it's like 25, that you'll be fine.
Yeah. Let's hope. Let's
Yeah.
hope.
What about you, Adam? You coming to Wisconsin for any of the showings?
I hope to.
Mhm.
We're still waiting to see. There's a couple projects kind of lined up for the end of the month, so need to see how those go.
Well, and I imagine other things this month make things complicated for that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, absolutely. Good point.
But how much? I was going to ask you, Adam. How much of the time did you spend in Wisconsin during the filming? Were you here a lot, or did you do a lot of it remotely? I'm just curious because you hear stories. Some
Yeah.
producers are on set, on hands, and others are just meetings. I didn't know what balance you had there.
I had to be a lot more remote than I would like to be for
Hmm.
this. I do full time at my day job is a post-production accountant.
Oh,
So I work for I work for like larger studios on their movies to
sure.
handle post-production and workflow and bookkeeping and cost reporting and things like that. So I had to be doing my day job 9 to 5 while I also we were producing this. So I got up for I took a day off and maybe like I came up like on a Friday and we
Mhm.
were shooting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then that Sunday was Super Bowl night.
Oh,
Yep.
My flight was delayed and I spent the night at the Mall of America because that was the nearest, the closest airport hotel. And anyways, so I was there for a very memorable 3 days.
well, I hope you guys liked it up here in Wisconsin.
I did. I'd love to come back. And look, we're planning March.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
planning March.
Can you give us a little tease about March, Nathan?
No tease,
Oh, no tease. Okay.
except
That's fine.
there will be some thawing snow. I can give you that much.
It is March in Wisconsin, though, so you never know. You might have snow yet.
That's true. That's true.
We've had snow. Yeah, every month I've seen it from January to June. We've had snow at least one a few
Mhm.
times over the years. The April ones are the worst because those are the wet and heavy ones. Those are the ones that break tree limbs and that because it's so wet and heavy. But I am very happy I've gotten to talk to you, all three of you, about this. What's next for you, Nathan? I know besides the showings, you've got March planning. Do you have any other project, or is this kind of your main focus for the next few years?
Well, my hope is that I can do this on the side of
Sure.
everything else I'm
Hmm.
doing. So I have a feature I'm preparing that hopefully we'll see,
Hmm.
cross fingers will get funded. Always working on that. But that's what I really like about this idea is that no matter what's going on in Hollywood or whatever, I can always come back and do these and tell more Wisconsin stories.
And you'll always find a Wisconsinite who will help you make a film. That's for sure.
Go to Craigslist and
That's right. Go to Craigslist. Find another Richie. Uh, what about you, David? What's next? You get the acting bug bite
Yeah, yeah, man, but it's so hard. It's so
Hmm.
hard right now, you know. Not only do I don't have any of the like the acting websites like
Sure.
Backstage, Actors Access, like I don't have any of those right now.
Hmm.
And trying to find work with my other actor friends, it's like we're all struggling to get some work, you know? So at this point, I'm just trying to like, because my brother is a film major as well, that me and him can make some short films together. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know a number of people who are in that boat, not only just acting, but just in general. My son as well, finding a job is a tough job. It's tough right now for
yeah,
younger folks, and I don't say that as trying in any negative way. Just those in the
yeah.
younger 20s and that they're finding it hard to find jobs in any profession. So, yeah, if you can shoot short films, there's a lot of folks doing that now, and even some indie filmmakers who are bypassing distribution and just going straight to YouTube, like
Yeah,
Nathan and Adam here, I probably attest to. There's a lot of people just distributing out there because you've got distributors now, and you've got horror stories from distribution companies taking
yeah,
advantage of indie filmmakers, and so everybody's like, "Well, I could just do it myself now, right, Adam?"
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think that
exactly.
that's like one of the great things, like the independent filmmaking spirit.
Hmm.
And what about you, Adam? What do you got next?
Working on a couple projects, kind of see how 2025 lines up, but a couple unscripted projects, a couple maybe some shorts, and maybe a feature.
Oh, exciting, exciting. Well, thank you, all three of you, for your time. I will get links, social media links for you, from all of you, and we'll post that in the body of this podcast. And folks, February, keep an eye out for it. In the meantime, I believe you could go to Nathan's YouTube channel and see January, I believe is available for, which is an adorable, wonderful short I watched, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. A clash of generations. So is that what you're kind of going for with these, Nathan? You gotta kind of have polar, not necessarily polar opposites, but two different sides of, say, an issue or a topic, and kind of see both sides of that in a small
No,
town.
yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot that's going to be in common with all of them, but also that will change. But there's definitely a lot in common between January and February in terms of the very two different characters connecting.
Mhm.
And then January is like very much about women, and then February is very much about men. So I'm gonna keep having fun with just playing with like those kind of themes and juxtapositions, I guess.
And March will be about animals. You'll have Wisconsin cats and Illinois
Dogs in
dogs.
the
There you go.
movie. Yeah.
And Adam's like, how the hell will I cast that? No.
I think it'll be easier.
It's easier. Well, Nathan, David, Adam, thank you very much. Folks, check it out. I'll put links
Yeah.
down below. And
Yeah.
yeah, support indie cinema. And
Hmm.
when March is done, or when you have your next project lined up, want to talk, would love to have you back.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Mark.
It was
Fantastic.
a pleasure. Had a great
Thank
time.
you very much. Appreciate it.